to the millions and millions watching at home. Welcome to the Four Quarter Show, starring myself, the hostess with the mostest, Mr. Swiss Roll, aka the showstopper, the main event, Mellow. And as always, I am joined by, and I'm forced to say this now, the reigning, defending, undisputed halftime champion of the world, Alain.
In the words of LeBron James.
That's what you are, LeBron James, technically, because you're what, four? You've won 4 times and you lost 10? You're like LeBron James.
Put some damn respect on my name.
Just the worst.
That's me, the champion. What can I say? 4 consecutive episode champion. I'm gonna go for the record, Mello. I mean, it doesn't get any better of a win than letting you decide 4 out of 5 games last week, giving you the option, just saying, here, take it. And I still retain my title.
The worst part is that I can't say that I got duped because...
You didn't. But I will show everyone the gracious gift you got me. And like last week I said, Mello, you pick because I want you to enjoy too. So he brought me some Mountain Dew. Look at that. Because that's what Skip Bayless drinks, except Skip drinks diet.
But this is he is technically the skip of the show, so...
You know I'm not the skip of the show. And some bum 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 bum. I gotta put my title down. Hold on. Look at this. Oh, hold on. Let me just celebrate with my drinks.
Okay, so we're done here. Welcome everyone to the Four Quarter Show. If this is your first time tuning into the Four Quarter Show, I'm gonna leave it up to Mr. Halftime Champion over there to kick us off with the usual 4-quarter nonsense.
Okay, if this is your first time listening, or to our viewers, let me explain to you how 4-quarter works. We have 4 quarters where we debate sports. Each quarter is 12 to 15 minutes long. We also have a halftime where Mello and I, we talk about certain bets we made the previous week. Loser has to bring the winner a drink. And we also have an overtime where we discuss everything other than sports. And that is 4 quarters. Lucky for us today, we have a special guest that I'm excited to bring in. We have a Laker fan, a fellow LeBron fan, at least I hope so from seeing his post. He went to high school with us. And Mello, bring him in so we can start talking some sports and some Lakers.
Well, with that said, we're bringing in a fellow Cobra, so I'm excited about this. Welcome to the 4-quarter show, Steven.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes, look at him wearing his Laker jersey. That's what's up.
I see.
I had to wear it. Feeling good, celebrating.
How you doing today, Steven? How you doing?
Pretty good. How's it going for you guys?
Another week of defeat, so I'm trying to, bounce back here, unfortunately.
Oh, man, how does the scoring go in your show? Like, how do you determine who wins and who loses?
Well, I always win the show. It's just halftime that Alain has come back and beat me a couple of times.
You don't win the show. We have a debate show that there's no winner or loser with the debates, but at halftime we just pick 3 or 7 games from any sport. Lately it's been football, and then we just wager. Like I'll say the Patriots will win this week, and then we have a list of our winners. And then this week it was best 3 out of 5, right?
Yes.
Correct. So I think 4 of my teams won, or 3. I don't know. The point is, I've won 4 in a row. But that's what we do at halftime, just to make it more fun.
Okay.
But all right, Alain, you want to go ahead and serve us the
Absolutely.
beverages?
I'm gonna put 15 minutes. Since we have a special guest, we'll do 15 minutes today. So each quarter, it's 4 quarters, Steven, and then we'll do it like basketball where we have, 15-minute quarters. And this quarter, 15-minute start, we're going to do the NBA talk. And, Steven, I'm going to give it to you. Tell us about this Laker win. How did it feel? Your thoughts on it.
It was a pretty good season. Like the bubble was an interesting experience to watch, and I guess it would be interesting for them playing in as well. Like, but it was cool to see. It was cool to see how the teams developed through it, and it's definitely cool to see the Lakers win because as a Lakers fan, I've been waiting 10 years. Like 10 years is a long time. If you experience your favorite team winning a championship, then to wait 10 years to experience that again, like that was
Now, I grew up loving the Lakers with the Kobe and Shaq days. That's where I
yeah.
probably became a bigger basketball fan watching that team and the Lakers. So I grew up loving the Heat, but then also growing up loving the Lakers in the West
I'm
Coast.
very much the same. It was that Kobe and Shaq dynamic that drew me in at a young age, and my whole life I grew up in Miami, so I've gone to way more Heat games than I've gone to Lakers games. So I have a lot of love for the Heat as well. If they were playing anybody other than the Lakers in the championship, I'll be pulling for them. So that was pretty interesting too. My whole family is Heat fans, so I'm
Oh,
like the
you
oddball.
were basically giving him a crap the whole time, then weren't
Yeah,
you? So I gotta.
that's what makes it feel so much better because the rivalry is personal.
So we have a comment here from the boss from the website here, Steve. He said, 10 years, 1973 Knicks." So he's definitely felt it
Oh
a lot
shit!
longer. Yeah, sorry, boss. It's tough being a Knicks fan out there.
Still tell
I would hate to
Steven.
be a Knicks fan. That was at one point in time when I was very young, like very very young. The Knicks were one of my favorite teams because one of my favorite basketball players when I was first introduced to basketball was Larry Johnson. I remember him getting traded from Charlotte to New York, and started liking New York. It's probably around the same. This is around the same time the Lakers is becoming my favorite team, and there's a reason I chose the Lakers over New York because
Oh, smart man.
You made the right decision there.
that would be a lifelong mistake. That's like in the Dolphins or something.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's just like liking the Dolphin.
Last time I checked, the Dolphins have the only undefeated season for a football team. So we have the greatest season of all time for a football team. Just to throw
Yeah,
that out there.
they've been waiting to repeat longer than the Knicks.
Yep. What, 1973? Oh, I think it's the same
He
year.
just said 70,
1973.
he said
All right. I don't
75.
know. I don't know how this got to
73 and
Dolphin talk.
70.
We're gonna move this back to Laker talk. So tell us, Steven, what did you think? Was it Anthony Davis? Was it LeBron? Tell me, as a Laker
Who
fan,
was the real MVP?
I mean, you got to go with LeBron. Like, how can you say the person who's leading in scoring, leading in assists? Oh, he's not leading in scoring. Anthony Davis may score more points, but he's one of the leaders in scoring, leader in assists, and he's apparently a leader of their locker room. Like, he's a leader of like the whole sport of basketball. Like, how can you give somebody else on his team most valuable player when the huddle go, they all look at him before they look at the coach? Like, can't say that anybody else on
Easy.
his team.
Easy, because it just showed when Anthony Davis played bad, the team wasn't winning. LeBron James was playing like crap, and they still were winning. When he was turning over the ball like crazy, they still won that game. So obviously, Anthony Davis was a key piece. At least I do think so. And I think it was game 4 that Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter said, "Hey LeBron, step aside. I'm gonna take care of Jimmy Butler," and he took care of Jimmy buckets, and they won that game.
Steven, this is where my co-host has this wrong because he says Anthony Davis didn't show up. The Lakers lose, but your second best player needs to show up. Kyrie needed to show up. Dwayne Wade needed to show up. You know what? Paul George needed to show up for Kawhi Leonard.
LeBron James needed to show up in 2011, and he didn't.
No, LeBron James showed up every single game. Go ahead, Steven.
If either player doesn't show up, the team doesn't win. Like,
Exactly.
you have to look beyond that when you're trying to say who's the MVP. If their fifth player doesn't show up, they don't win. So you can't make the MVP judgment off of that. If the team's seventh player doesn't show up,
Caruso.
they don't win. Any team, this is basketball. The seventh player, if he does not show up, there's a high chance that your team doesn't win when you go down to the playoffs when you have a 7 and 9 man rotation. If 7's not there, your team is done. So you can't use that as your judgment of MVP. If they don't show, does the team win? Not when you're talking about the NBA Finals, where these teams are built in a way that They
I
should be
just think
able
it's
to
more than
compete.
just stats. I think that yeah, if you look at the
Right.
numbers, LeBron James definitely, but Anthony Davis did so much more on defense that you don't see on the stat sheet that I think was more valuable than what LeBron James did.
I mean, if you want to make that debate, you can go for it. Like I don't. It's not a huge gap between the two.
No, not at all.
If you want
It definitely
to,
wasn't. I think it could have gone to either one. It obviously went to LeBron James. So
but I think if you have to make a decision, then you have to make the decision based on when you're comparing those two and their numbers and saying what Anthony Davis provides on defense. You compare is Anthony what Anthony Davis provides on defense is that more valuable than LeBron's actual leadership? And
That's a good point.
that's a good point.
if it's not, it's what he brings on deep. Could they create defensive schemes that without him or that don't use him in the same way that will make him like not valuable? That you can't do that to LeBron's leadership. There's nothing that the Miami Heat can do to make LeBron not a leader. There's something the other team can do to make Anthony Davis less effective on defense.
That's
And
right.
I
You know,
would say that's the determining factor.
Yeah, I think when we have these debates about who's LeBron's best teammate, I'm always going to say it's Dwayne Wade. But when it comes to actual basketball on court, when you want two guys to have a 2-on-2, I'm always going to say it's going to be LeBron and Anthony Davis because those pick and rolls, that IQ, that defense by Anthony Davis, LeBron's leadership, them two together, I believe will always be a better basketball team. But it's just the wow factor and the fun that came with Dwayne Wade and
But you also
LeBron
got
James.
Anthony Davis at basically his prime. You didn't get Dwayne Wade at his prime.
That's
Dwayne Wade
true.
was just the person that was able to give LeBron James to that next level of leadership, which is why I consider Dwayne Wade a better teammate, his best teammate basically, because he got him to that level.
It's also like what are you basing this better teammate on? Better teammate basketball wise, like if you build in a 5-man roster, it'll be easier to start with LeBron James and Anthony Davis
Absolutely.
because they cover two different aspects of the game, as opposed to Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, who are very similar players. Like maybe not in how they achieve what they achieve, but what they're achieving on the court is almost identical. They still, with a team like that, you still need to find a big man to put in between them. So obviously
Absolutely.
you'll lead Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. But if they were playing 2-on-2 basketball, I might have to go LeBron James and Kyrie. Like
Oh,
Hey,
man. You don't want to have
Kyrie,
Kyrie
baby.
talking here. I mean,
Playing
that's it.
2-on-2.
The savior.
Yeah, but is Kyrie going to be healthy to play is the question. I mean,
I mean,
Kyrie's
if
got all those handles. He's gonna go right around you.
listen, a healthy
yes,
Kyrie.
put him on the court, play 2-on-2 with LeBron James and Kyrie. I don't think anybody on the planet can beat him unless it's KD and Kyrie.
It's true. But listen, okay, Steven,
Okay.
I have a very important question for you. We were just talking about the Lakers and you were, from the 1 through the 7th guy. There's a lot of players that might be leaving this team. I know you're a big fan of Pope, but Rondo was big for you guys. Do you keep Kyle Kuzma? I think Danny Green might be headed to the Clippers, or I don't know if that was a rumor. But what do you think is a must-keep player or a must-pay player for the Lakers to move on forward for the
Must-keep.
future?
Must keep Rondo, KCP.
Okay.
KCP, wow, that's
Beyond that, I think everything else is tradable. A lot of people bring up Kyle Kuzma. I don't see where he's actually valuable in trades because he's still on a rookie contract. He has a $2 million. How is that a bargaining chip? Like what do they get in return for that $2 million? He's more valuable than $2 million right now. So any team would keep them on their roster. Like he's a better player than $2 million.
Yeah, he's a service
He might
player.
not be a superstar. That's what people's problem with him is he's not a superstar, but he's a $2 million player.
He is.
He's more famous than players that are better than him, and that's
Oh.
kind of what people get confused
He's a TikTok
because
star.
he's a star, a pop star. They want him to be a superstar in basketball. I know they're two completely different things, but I don't see a lot of trade value in him. So he's somebody that you keep on the roster, and keeping him on the roster makes somebody like Morris not that he's somebody that you don't need to sign because Kuzma could have played the same role that Morris played for them in those minutes that Morris got. If he wasn't there, they would have put Kuzma in those same spots. And you may think Morris is probably a little better because he's a little more experienced, but Kuzma could step up and play that same role. And a lot of the players, I think, for the most part, should return. Like Rondo and KCP, there's an option for them to get more money. How much more money? And will they get? And what are can the Lakers match what somebody else offers? And if the other team offers very little more, is like a championship, another championship mean more to them? And there's all what the Lakers have been doing recently. It's a lot of short contracts, so they may all take 1-year deals to run it back.
So I got a question for you. When did Rajon Rondo start learning to make 3-pointers? Because that bugged the crap out of me in the entire series that he was making 3-pointers and free throws like he had been doing this his entire life.
I mean, I think since he played in Boston, he's becoming a better shooter. Like all it takes is repetition to be a good shooter. Truthfully, the more shots you take, the better shooter you become. So people haven't been paying attention to him. He's not been on a team that's good, or when he was on the team, when he was on the Dallas team, they decided they hated him, so they didn't let him play for like a year.
But on the Bulls when he had Wade and Jimmy buckets, he still wasn't that like key role. Let me go out there and shoot 3-pointers.
I mean, do you think it had to do with the bubble? Do you think the bubble not having fans there may have helped Rondo's shot? Or
I don't think that has anything to do with shooting. Like,
okay,
because a good shooter can shoot in front of 1 million people, or they can shoot by themselves. Like, if you look at it like numbers, like he's probably a 30% free 3-point shooter, and that's what he shot, like 35% or something like that. Like, it's not extraordinary. It's not like he didn't become like some extraordinary 3-point shooter. He makes open shots, and he's always been able to make an open shot. They rather give him the open shot because the odds of him making it are less than when he takes you on the dribble. It's no different than what he was the last time he won the championship.
Yeah, man, I think Rondo finally playing with the Lakers helped him out because I feel Rondo is sort of a Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler type of player where they just want to win, and I feel the last few teams probably didn't help him with that, and that's why he was a locker room disruption and things like that. But I just feel players like that.
Both have like a similar story with that. Is like it seems like in sports, it's like when they put a tag on you, they say something about you like that sticks, even if it's not true. Say Rondo can't shoot threes. He's a horrible shooter. You put him in a situation where he gets to shoot the 3, where you leave him open, he makes it. So does that tag they put on him really matter? Dwight Howard is whatever they said he is. He got that opportunity to prove himself, and I guess
he got a second opportunity now with LA. I think that was the one thing that hurt him the most. His first opportunity in LA with Kobe, I think that it just didn't work out, and that kind of hurt him. And I don't see why. I thought he was still a great position player. He was just off, defensive player of the year. I don't know why he got so much hate after that.
It's cool to talk about people. Like that's really all it boils down to. It's cool to talk about people. ESPN got to keep something on every day, so you got to talk about somebody. Somebody got to be the butt of the joke.
It's true.
And sometimes like that's just how it goes. Like I don't know why.
Steven, last question before this quarter's over, and I want to ask a quick thing. How much credit do you give Frank Vogel for this win? Because he did do a lot of adjustments. He did bench, JaVale McGee at certain times. He did bench Dwight Howard. He changed up Caruso as a starter. So the Lakers definitely adjusted. Do you feel that's on Frank Vogel, or do you think the team still would have done what they did?
I think the team probably would win the championship if I was coaching them too. I'm not gonna say he's not a good coach or he didn't make any good decisions, but you put a team that's built, that's constructed properly. You put that team together. What more can you Well, what else? All he could do is mess up. Truthfully,
And you have LeBron James,
yeah,
who's
like
your
all he could do
player
is mess up.
coach.
LeBron James has helped two people become like premier coaches in the NBA. Without LeBron James, Eric Spoelstra is nobody. Right?
Tyronn Lue, and now
He could be a good coach at this point in time. Like he may be able to make good decisions, but without the opportunity to be the coach of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, he's nobody. Tyronn Lue was not a head coach prior to LeBron James making him the head coach, and now he's a head coach. He's in the conversation of the top potential coaches in the league. This doesn't happen if he doesn't play with LeBron James. And now Frank Vogel is going to be one of the greatest coaches ever because he may win multiple championships.
All right.
So you think, well, now with our friend here, Andrew Hernandez, commenting that Lue would have had a second ship if he was a coach of the Lakers. You think now Tyronn Lue is on the Clippers? Are we still in quarter one?
What
Yeah,
was that?
we can
What was the
finish it.
statement? I missed it. I tried to read it. I didn't catch it.
I said that Tyronn Lue would have had a second championship if he was the coach of the Lakers.
Yeah, if he would have took that 2-year deal instead of wanting 5 years, he would have definitely had a championship. But he got 5 years from the Clippers, so
That's what I was gonna say. So now, do you think that they're gonna be more competition now, or are the Lakers,
I mean-
that's quarter two. That's quarter two stuff.
Is it?
Let's
we need a water break.
nah, that's just the end of quarter number one. That's the. I mean, we do have a shot break if you got a drink. Let's go. Let's take a shot.
I didn't know that's what type of show it was. If
Oh.
you give me a second, I could.
Yeah,
I could
go,
get
go
it right.
ahead.
Go,
we
go,
got
go.
you.
Got yourself a drink with us. So Mello, that's the end of quarter number one.
Yes.
I appreciate Steven coming out here and some of our fans. We have Andrew.
Absolutely. We'll actually go through the comments a little bit. I kind of skipped it because I didn't want to interrupt. We have the boss again talking about how, it built character to be a Knicks fan, and a Dolphins fan apparently, since, they both haven't won since 73. We have David Gonzalez saying Alain needs to show up for David. Sad face. The boss also said
That's not
Avery
very
Bradley on the
worrying.
Bill Simmons podcast is a must listen to. I haven't heard it, but
We taking shots, so I can just sip this. This y'all
Ah.
party.
You can sip
You
it.
can sip
we'll
it.
take a shot. We're actually gonna pour another drink after this, so you can just sip that one. But thank you for getting a drink. Here you go for the
Let's
Lakers
toast
win.
to it. To the Lakers winning. To Florida
There we
State
go.
being North Carolina too. Got a shot. Back.
Let's get it.
yes.
Oh man, Fireball takes me back. All right,
It's been
so
a minute since that fireball. What'd you get to drink, Steven?
Remy Martin.
ooh, that's a
It's a
good one.
nice one. That's a nice. That you don't want to chug that one. You want to sip on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
as
That's why I
full quarter
asked that
fashion?
question.
What color do you want, Mello?
I will take blue.
Blue. All right, Ghost. Start it off. Let's get quarter number two going and ask the question you asked about the Clippers.
All right. So start off quarter number 2. Steven, just gonna go back up to you. So then, do you think the Clippers are now more competition with Tyronn Lue at the helm against the Lakers?
Can he fix their problem? Like
What do you think is the problem?
Paul George is. You could put me in the game and I might do better.
It's funny you say that though, because the rumor, well, I guess what everyone was talking about this past weekend was that Kawhi is the issue because he lives in San Diego and he's showing up to, practices late. And he's the one that the coaches are giving, the special treatment with the load management. So is it Paul George or could it also be Kawhi?
I mean, that probably plays a factor into it too, but truthfully, Paul George doesn't show up on the court, and on the court is where they lose the game. Like in the fourth quarter, 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you're up by 12. Him coming to practice late don't mean nothing. You missing a shot mean way more than him coming to practice late. And him coming to practice late in the bubble was not the issue. Y'all, they can't be mad about 5 months ago.
I agree
Like,
with
they
you.
playing right now. Paul George ain't show up right now in the present. He was me. I'm not bad at basketball, but I don't think I should be on the NBA court. And Paul George was playing like me.
You know what I will say about the Clippers drama. I can understand why the players might feel the way they feel about Kawhi Leonard getting preferential treatment. When you have players like Kevin Durant going to the team like the Warriors, yes, the Warriors are established, but they also already had their leader. And the three best players in that team all accepted KD with what he came with. In the Clippers, you have three guys that aren't really stars in Lou Williams,
Montreal Harrell.
Patrick
Harrell,
Beverly
and Patrick Beverly, and those are your three leaders. And it's not that they were really stars; those were guys who wanted to play hard, and they worked every day to get 2 games on the Warriors last year in the playoffs. But that was a surprising 2 games. So I feel when you get Leonard coming into the team, they're pretty much saying, "Yo, what's up? Why is this guy not working?" So I think that might have been the dynamic. But like you said, that was earlier in the year, so. I don't know what the excuse could have been now.
I mean, if you think about it, the two guys, Montreal and Lou Williams, were both, what is it, a 6th Man of the Year candidates, and they also didn't really show up in that final game. It wasn't just Paul George. It was also Patrick Beverly. It was Lou. Like, they all blew that Game 7. It should have never got there.
Alex brings a good point, by the way, if you want to put it on the screen.
Said,
as much as people don't like using this as an excuse, I still think it's true. It's very rare to have teams like the Celtics that did it with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett, who won it on the first go. The Heat didn't win on the first go. The Lakers last year didn't win on the first go. Sometimes you just need, some chemistry to win a whole year.
Chemistry is definitely important in basketball. Like you can put the best players on the court, but it's only one ball. So you got to figure out how to move that ball around to achieve what you want to achieve, and you got to figure out how to move on defense to stop the other team from doing what they're trying to do to you. And if you can't do that, if for whatever reason, if it's you guys don't get along, you guys don't communicate, if whatever the issue is, like if chemistry is an issue, like you can't team. Like skills can't go through the lack of chemistry because the other team is filled with people of the same skill level. Like if an NBA team played a college team, you could assemble any NBA players, they'll be the college team because they're a higher caliber player. But truthfully, a college team that plays together every day could probably beat random NBA players who don't play together all the time because they'll have more chemistry. They'll be able to move. They'll know more about what their teammates are going to do. They'll know their teammates' tendencies. They'll know what their teammates expect in certain situations, or like something as simple as where a player likes to get the ball, like what type of passes they like to set themselves up in their best situation. And if you don't have that, it's probably going to be hard to beat a team that has that.
So true. To open up the table right now, which is Steven, you can answer this question first, and then Melo. With free agency coming up now, there's a lot of big players' names out there. So if you guys have any ideas of what should happen and what they should do, we have rumors that Chris Paul is being looked at by the Lakers. We have a possible Westbrook trade to the Knicks. Should the Clippers shop around Paul George? And where should the Greek Freak end up? Should he stay with the Bucks? So those are 4 big key players. What do you guys think? Steven, starting off with you.
All right. Greek Freak. He might as well stay in Milwaukee. I don't really see too many, unless he can figure out how to get to Houston. If he can get to Houston and they keep that Houston team how it is, that's the only place I can see him going that makes sense because he's what they need, and they're what he needs. So that's the only thing.
That's a good point.
Any other team, I don't see a purpose in him trying to go there. He might as well stay in Milwaukee and keep winning a bunch of regular season games, break records, be a great player, and never win a championship.
In the words of Shaq, who's paying me the most?
Right.
And that's the Bucks.
I mean, I think if they do like a trade with Porzingis, I think he'd fit good with Luka.
I think anybody can fit good with Luka. He's like LeBron.
That'll work. Luka and him, that'll work. But I could see that.
Look, pop up in the screen what Danny said. You think the best college basketball team could beat the worst NBA team? That's what what you were talking about. What do you think about that?
No,
What's your
no, because you said team. You said NBA team. The Atlanta
got you?
Hawks will beat
Yeah.
Duke. The Atlanta Hawks
Okay, you're right. You're saying
whatever.
random NBA player.
Yeah,
Got you.
like you have to take 5 players from 5 different teams and hope these NBA players don't hoop together on the weekends.
Got you.
Because
You're right. You can say that.
We got a couple things here. We got Daniel St. Giannis going to Miami. Alex
Oh.
chimed in saying that he wouldn't get the ball in Houston, so he would have to, which is true. But if he adjusts, it depends what he wants. Does he
Why
want
do
to
you
win
think he
or does he
won't
want to
get
be
the
MVP?
ball?
The
That's
same
just
reason.
that's one of those tags they put on James Harden that like he doesn't pass the ball.
Well,
This
Chris
man
Paul
get-
complained. Chris Paul did complain about it. Wanting the ball more. At
Why
the
would
end
I
of
pass
games.
the ball to Chris Paul? His job's to pass the ball to me.
Chris Paul's Chris Paul's clutch, man. Look where he took
OKC.
OKC this
Where
year,
James
man.
Harden took Houston. Like they
But
took each
so-
other to the same place.
So the question
Like-
would be, because if they keep Russell Westbrook and James Harden, there's not going to be enough, shots for Giannis. So it's him, I guess, having to, be
For the
okay with that
record,
role.
He's
For
going to
the
get
record.
the ball in a better situation with point guards, with people
For-
that can spread the floor and give him the ball, and not at the top of the key where he has to try to dribble through 5 people and Euro step and try to dunk. He can get the ball in the low post or the high block or different places if he had a guard like James Harden or Westbrook who actually draw attention.
Look, for the record, I love Westbrook and Harden together. Their biggest mistake was trading away. They're big guys, man. If you put a big guy in there,
no reason for that.
I love Westbrook and I love Harden's game. And if you just get another big guy in there, you just needed a center. They have no one down there in the post to help them out. That's tough to
why
ask
the Giannis trade would make sense, because you get that piece that you're missing, that big
for.
man.
Unless you're going to get Giannis and Brook Lopez, you still need a center.
Do you? Because Giannis could slide to the 5 the same way Anthony Davis slides to the 5.
Anthony Davis is a big boy, and he plays power forward.
Did you?
And he
are
hates
you,
being
are you
center,
saying
though.
this to say that Giannis isn't a big boy? Come on.
I'm not saying he's not. He is big, but he's
They
not.
call
He's
him
not like.
freak because he's like.
I'll Steven
if
can
you
out
create
debate
a
me in my
player
own
a
show.
video game, like you create the best basketball player that you want to create, and you would make him look like Giannis.
Not in
You're right,
2K.
but Giannis isn't gonna want to take that pounding in the center. Just the same reason why Anthony Davis complains about wanting to be center. He doesn't want to do
But
it.
we're talking about if he goes to Houston, they put whoever they want to put at center through the season. In the playoffs, at times he can slide over to the 5.
Absolutely, yes. But
And that's all they need.
I agree with that. But you
They
still
can
need
get
to
a
have
Boogie
another
Cousins.
center.
They can get a
It could
Boogie
be
Cousins for real
anybody.
cheap.
Pick whoever, whatever draft pick they have, whatever the best center that you could pick, get him. If not him, get the best player and trade
JaVale
somebody for their.
JaVale McGee might be on his way out of the Lakers. That'll be a
Dwight
piece of
Howard.
paper. That's true,
JaVale
Dwight
McGee's
Howard.
on contract. JaVale McGee's on contract for another year. Dwight Howard's obviously a free agent. So for the most part, Dwight Howard's probably the one player that the Lakers probably have the hardest chance to keep because they have a replacement for him on their team already. So they probably won't try that hard.
So tell me, because I saw you shake your head when I brought this one up. CP3 to the Lakers, as the Houston Rockets owner gladly said, the worst contract in the NBA. Do you think
That would be the
No?
dumbest thing for the Lakers. Like that doesn't benefit them in any way.
LeBron's gonna be able to play with his banana boat boy.
Look, did you see what happened with Carmelo? LeBron said it'll be cool to play with him, and they say nothing beyond that.
Yeah, but look what Melo did in Portland. He showed that he
Exactly.
can still play.
Look what Chris
So
Paul doing at OKC. That's what LeBron gonna do is look at it.
Oh man, that's true.
I guess, but I would like a Melo off the bench if I'm the Lakers. Why not pay him a good veteran minimum? Come win a championship.
They could have did that, but it didn't. Where did he fit on that team? Like if you're the Lakers,
He could have
if you're
been
the
your
Lakers, then
Kuzma.
you're
He could have been your Danny Green. He could have fit there. He probably would have made more of those shots that Danny Green took than.
He wouldn't have fit. He wouldn't have fit where Danny Green fits in on defense.
But see, that's if I feel like if you look at Melo now in Portland, he did his job on defense. He did what he had to do.
He did his job, but his job was most of the time covering like power forward.
So who
Where-
Danny Green was going to be covering, let's say the finals. You switch Danny Green with Carmelo. Who's he guarding? Duncan Robinson?
Yeah,
Like that's not a tough guard for Melo.
Are you serious? That's a horrible guard for Melo. Do you know what it means to guard Duncan Robinson?
Yeah, you got to stay on.
You have- that they're constantly setting picks, and you're chasing this man around the court, and for 24 seconds at a time, you're getting bodies to you while you're chasing somebody around. You have to navigate through picks and decide: do I go over this one, under this one, over this one, under this one, and try to stay attached to somebody? That's not what Melo is going to be doing. Melo does not want to do that.
All right, so we got one last question for the quarter, and since we started off the whole podcast with Laker talk, we will end it with a quick Heat free agency talk. There's rumors that we want to get Grant from the Nuggets. Do you guys think that'll be a smart fit? Should we pay him, overpay him? Should we wait for Giannis? What's the move for the Heat now, or should we just keep the roster how it is?
Do they get
They need something.
Grant in a trade, or is he a free? He's a free agent.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets were looking to give him 65 mil.
For how many years?
I don't know. I think it said 4. I'm not sure with the years.
I feel like this past season, a lot of guys got overpaid, and that's gonna kill us in the salary cap. Like I feel like Chris Middleton, Tobias Harris, all those guys got super overpaid.
Oh, so you think everybody's gonna be demanding high money?
I think so. If you had a good season and you were a key piece, yeah, I think they'll demand high money.
Well, they're kind of stuck because with this bubble, the NBA lost millions of dollars, so the salary cap might go down. It might be a tougher year to ask for money.
But you can ask for more money if you stay on the team you're signed to. That's why the whole
Exactly, I know.
Giannis thing, people were saying, oh, he wouldn't leave because he's giving up like $100 million if he goes somewhere else. The only way to him get his money is if he does a sign and trade, which I don't know if a lot of teams would take that.
That's true.
Yeah,
I just
I
hope
don't think
it's,
anybody wants to. No one would do a sign and trade with the max contract person. That's like a silly move. Like it makes no sense. I'll just wait, especially when all you like. There's no reason if y'all sign them, that would be that team. Like if they sign that contract, I don't understand why a team would do that when they're shopping the superstar. By signing them and saying you're keeping them because nobody really wants to trade max contracts.
That's true.
Unless you have a Chris Paul on your team.
All right, Steven, thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to plug anything in before you sign out or anything you want to say?
You can follow me on Instagram or something like that. That's
Can
about
you
it.
plug his
Steven
Instagram
King.
on the bottom?
I can.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can type it in.
No, we're gonna type it in for you. But thank you so much for joining us, man. Hey, it's been awesome. I hope you're doing
I
great.
enjoyed the show.
It's Stephen T. King, correct?
Stephen T. D.A. King.
There we go. Follow him. He's gonna be our Laker correspondent from now on. So whenever I need
Okay.
someone to back me up from with LeBron talk and Laker talk, we're gonna bring Steven in. We're definitely gonna plug you whenever you
He
get your
needs the help.
podcast going.
That's why he's bringing you in.
So let's take a shot right now for Steven.
Definitely. Steven,
hope
thank
the
you
You
so
can
much
best.
for
invite me
coming on.
anytime you want to talk basketball. Truthfully,
Definitely, man. No, we definitely
Absolutely.
will. We definitely will. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
We'll
Hope
see
you
you.
Thank
enjoyed
you
it.
for having me.
Everyone listening, his Twitter. His Instagram's at the bottom. It's at Stephen T. The
Shots
King.
already getting them.
That's my Twitter too, but I tweet like once every 2 years.
So Twitter or Instagram. Thank you again, Stephen, so much.
All right,
It
thank
was
you,
a
guys.
pleasure,
Take care, man.
Have a good evening.
All right, you too.
So we got some halftime action right now. It's not real until I see it on the board. Until that I see that it says halftime.
Well, before we go to halftime, I want to go back to some of the comments before we leave. So
Okay.
we have Alex that said Luka fits with anyone, which is what you said. Which I mean he's only getting better, and that's scary to think that he's already
It's true.
that good.
He just
Then-
needs to work on his defense a little more, but he's a
The
baller.
Banana Boat Boys. Yep. I mean, I don't see if I'm LeBron, I don't see why you don't say, hey, I want Chris Paul, I want Melo. Melo,
And
you can get for
Carmelo,
cheap.
bring your Banana Boat Boys in. Win the championship for them.
Exactly. Get your boy some rings because that. See, I think if he did that, I would have so much more respect for LeBron James.
Honestly, I think Carmelo Anthony also had decided to change his game. I really think he has. I
He
think
he played so much different. He was
Yeah.
more of a team player. It wasn't all
He's
about
getting
him.
fit. Jim Mello, he's on the gym shooting threes right now, shooting buckets.
He is. Let's see what else we got. We have Alex saying that he would have been better than Kuzma Melo. And then we were talking about Grant. He was saying that he's perfect next to Bam, but that the Heat need to keep the wrong.
I dream. Okay. So, Melo, I wanna
The Heat
name
did a sign and trade for Butler. And it's just very hard right now, Anthony, with like what Alain was saying, with the salary cap, the way it's going, and they're asking for a lot now.
So I want to know, Melo, what you call your Mountain Dew and Fireball drink, because it tastes pretty good since this is what he brought me for winning last week.
I call it what dreams are made of. Made of.
Wow. Okay.
I know a lot of people have had Fireball before,
Oh, it's halftime.
and it's halftime. Yes.
It's halftime, guys. So you know what that means. I get to talk for 30 seconds right now. It's a new rule I just did. So I just want to say I am the halftime champion. 4 consecutive episodes. You know, I let Melo pick every single 4 out of the 5 games. This week, almost the same thing.
Hold on. I'm going to stop him because that's not true, because I would have picked the Dolphins over the Jets. I would have picked the Dolphins over the Jets. I was giving the Jets.
You can't stop someone there 30 seconons. That's not
Go
how
ahead.
that works.
Let everyone believe.
So I
That's
just
nice.
want all the fans out there who are always rooting for me. You know, you're halftime champion 4 weeks in a row. I just want to thank you guys. And just so you know, this week we have something special. This week we're not doing Dolphins or Eagles games because the Dolphins.
Eagles?
Oh, sorry. It's just that the Giants are so bad that I just remember they were playing the Eagles. So no Giants or Dolphins games this week since the Dolphins have a bye. And Melo, of course, wasn't going to bet on his team. So we're doing
They're playing the Eagles. I
we're
would've picked
doing
it.
7 games this week now. 7 games. But thank you. I'm still the halftime champion.
Anyways, Timmy, you did not miss the Larry Bird worship hour. We're still almost getting there. Don't worry about it. And we know you're a Celtics fan, so go Heat. So this Fireball Mountain Dew, I know that a lot of people might be questioning it, but let me let you know, guys. Trust me, you will not be disappointed with this Fireball and Mountain Dew. It's the perfect mix. Mountain Dew was made for whiskey. When you put Fireball in it, it was honestly an accident. And I'll give you a little story now that we're in halftime, and it's actually a good story.
Oh,
So in December, I decided to go to New Jersey to go watch the Giants game. And guess who they were playing? The Miami Dolphins. So me and my cousin, we went to Taco Bell, got this huge thing of Mountain Dew. We had a handle of Fireball. So before we go into the game, we said, we want to get at least more than half of this Fireball done. So we put it in our Mountain Dew, chugged it, and it was a new experiment that we hadn't ever tried, and it was amazing. And the Giants beat the Dolphins like they always do, because the Giants are the better team. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure he's not watching it anymore, but Andrew Hernandez could tell you, because he's bet against me every single time that the Dolphins would win, and they never do. But anyway, we'll get to halftime right now.
what about this season?
They're not playing each other this season, so it doesn't matter.
But I
It's
want to hear
cool.
how bad the Giants are this season. You have the worst quarterback in the worst division in the league.
We definitely don't have the worst quarterback.
Me too.
And last I checked, we're only a game away from
too.
first place and winning our division and making the playoffs.
Okay.
So,
You have the worst quarterback in the division. No problem. It's okay. All right. With that being said, also, Melo, let's talk about UFC 254.
no, how about we do our picks first? And
Well, I know. I wanted to give. Okay, you want to do the picks first and then give the shout out about you. Okay, we'll do the picks first. I let Melo pick most of the picks this week again, by the way, but it's okay. All right. So this week we have 7 games. The first game, which I think is the biggest game, one of the biggest games of the week, Steelers versus Titans. And Melo picked this one. He picked the Steelers, so I'll take the Titans. By the way, also, I picked 3. The first 3 games you'll hear are the games that I chose because I thought they were the most fair. The last 4 were teams that Melo picked because he says they're fair games, but whatever.
everyone watching this, you'll see that those are
They'll
fair
decide.
games. They're probably more fair than the ones that he picked.
So then Steelers versus Titans, fair game. Steelers 4-1, Titans 5-0. That's a big game. 49ers versus Patriots. That's an even game. Patriots still coming off of having COVID. 49ers still having quarterback trouble and injuries. Melo picked the Patriots. Third game, we have Bears versus Rams. Are the Bears the real deal? The real deal? Well, maybe the fireball is hitting. Are
Absolutely.
the Bears the real deal versus the Rams, who, just a couple years ago were in the Super Bowl? So Melo picked the Rams. Again, Nick Foles, which he's used to, losing to. Then we have Lions versus Falcons. This one surprised me. Melo did pick the Falcons, but I'm also not surprised because Matt Ryan did have a great game and Julio Jones, finally, the reemergence of
He
them.
woke up.
So, and the Lions coach he's probably the worst coach from the Bill Belichick branch, but that'll be for another debate. But Melo picked the Falcons. I took the Lions. Then we have Panthers versus Saints. I gave Melo the Saints.
Gave me.
You picked them. I mean, you weren't going to pick the Panthers. They know Teddy Bridgewater. The Saints are going to win that game, but it's okay. And then, of course, Melo wanted to pick Cowboys versus the Washington football team. I'm not even going to get started with that one. So Melo got the Cowboys. So I have the football team to root for. I might even buy a Washington football team shirt. And then the last game, which still boggles my mind, he picked Jaguars versus Chargers. But he did pick the Jaguars and gave me the Chargers. So
They both have the same record.
do they?
Yes.
Yeah, but the Chargers have lost to good teams.
The Jaguars have lots of good teams too.
Maybe. Nobody
So,
watches Jaguars games. So.
I'm picking, the boy Tony Khan to, finally get the Jaguars a W.
Right, so how about you finish that drink so I can pour it right out through halftime, and then you can tell all the listeners about UFC.
So, hold on.
No, you actually got to drink it so that I can make another drink.
I did drink it.
There you go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone who's tuning in right now, this upcoming Saturday, there's a UFC fight, UFC 254, which Khabib and Gaeth will be headlining. And me and Alain have decided we are going to be live streaming the UFC fight. And not only that, a couple more things for you. The halftime championship will be on the line.
Can you believe that? I had to do him a favor.
It will be on the line live, so you guys will be able to watch who wins the halftime champion. And I'm gonna tell you, Melo's coming up with a whole different attitude. It's a different Melo, and he's gonna win because last time we did this, Melo also came out victorious.
This is true.
Another thing we're gonna do, since we're gonna be live streaming, decided because it's gonna be like a 2-3 hour pay-per-view. Whoever is watching here, whoever's watching that day, if they want to come on and talk to us like today, like Steven did, they're going to be more than welcome to chat with us. We can talk about the fight. We can talk about whatever. Shoot the shit. So that's a little bit of teaser. And, we'll tease a little bit of the other episodes over time.
All right, thank you for that, Melo. So I'm excited for the UFC show. That should be fun. We're going to split the fight, right? Because last time I paid for the whole thing.
Did you though?
No, I think my brother paid for it. Thank you, Tito. Appreciate it.
Yes.
So yes, we're excited. UFC, big fight. That's probably going to be the hardest decision, is how we're going to see who picks over Khabib. Even though, I don't know, today I was kind of like, maybe I will go for Gaeth. Maybe. I was thinking about it, but I don't know yet. We still haven't put our picks in. We haven't decided.
Our picks will be made the day of the fight. So you won't know. The fans won't know. It's going to happen that day. And also, we talked about possibly a punishment that day.
This is true. We're going to, so many things.
So you definitely don't want to miss that, because it's going to be must-see entertainment.
All right. That's halftime. I'm still the halftime champion. Now on to quarter number 3. Let's put 12 minutes on the board. Let's go. What are we debating on quarter number 3, Melo?
So we're gonna go with the NFL Week 6, and there was a lot of things that happened in Week 6, some of which really screwed me over in halftime, and I'm not so happy about it.
Cheers to that.
The first one that happened was the Browns. Odell Beckham was apparently on Saturday, he was sick. And then in the middle of the game, the Browns decided to bench Baker Mayfield. What the F? Why would you bench your franchise quarterback when you're losing?
A couple things, I heard Mayfield was having a couple injury issues. I'm not sure that went into the benching. I think it's starting to be that Mayfield may not be the quarterback of choice. I think they're trying to realize a couple things. Can we see Sam Arnold in there next year from the Jets starting for the Browns? Can we see a couple other players, other quarterbacks in the league that we might see? But he has a tremendous offense. So it's just kind of odd that they're not able to put points on the board. The one thing I was confused about was I felt confident the Steelers were going to win the game, but I did not expect it to be a blowout that the Browns couldn't even get to to score a touchdown. So that's where I was confused. Benching him may have been the right idea. Case Keenum may actually be the better option at this point. But that's a good point, Danny. Browns are the worst team above 500. And there's a couple teams that are kind of suspect. We don't know what teams are imposters. We should have a segment on that should be our thing. Imposter or MVP. Oh no, imposter or crew member. We don't know. We'll start thinking of a segment. But we actually have one on imposters coming up. A quarterback that we might consider an imposter. And I think Mayfield to this point may be considered an imposter. Honestly, I was on the Mayfield bandwagon, but last year he had a chance to get some practice reps with Odell Beckham, with Jarvis Landry, with Njoku, with Kareem Hunt, all these players, and now we have Odell Beckham is unhappy, and Njoku's asking for a trade. I honestly don't know what to do anymore.
Browns are definitely
sus. You know what's funny about that is that it's the color. Browns are, yeah.
And you would think Odell, with so much, brown that he likes, that he would be doing good here, but he's just not. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if Baker's the problem. I really don't.
He's making too many commercials. At least that's what I keep hearing on sports talk radio is all about the commercials. I don't see the big deal about it.
It's not like Case Keenum came in and you threw him a touchdown. He didn't do anything either. So is it really the quarterback situation? Maybe it's schemes, whatever plays they're running that's not working.
Not everybody's Nick Foles. So, not a lot of quarterbacks can just come in and win ball games like that. I think if you give Case Keenum some more reps, some more time, he's a pretty serviceable quarterback. You saw what he did with the Vikings a couple of years back. He led them to the playoffs and even won that playoff game against the Saints. Was it the Saints?
I believe so.
Yeah. Where Stephon Diggs got that pass. But I don't know. The Browns are sus, and we're going to put them on our sus meter. Moving on to the next debate, we have, is Aaron Rodgers clutch? He just finished getting, for lack of a better word, whomped, beat, crushed by Tampa Brady Buccaneers.
You know what bothers me so much more about that is that they were winning 10-0 at one point. And I couldn't. Don't do 3. You get that penalty.
That's why I did 2. Don't find me. That's why I did two thrusts, 2 pumps.
I don't know, man, what happened to them. They looked so good, and then after that 10-0 lead, it was just like, I don't know what Rodgers was doing. Who he was throwing to, just didn't make no sense. They had no rhythm. It was atrocious, and that's the game that basically cost me the halftime championship.
Man, I wish I was better at my job at debating, because I was watching a pretty crazy statistic that I wish I would have wrote down, and it was that Aaron Rodgers is statistically one of the worst players when he's down by like a touchdown with the last couple minutes on the board. He's
Tannehill, because I've seen him come back.
You've seen him come back, but statistically speaking, he's one of the worst when he's down. He doesn't really win ball games. It was actually a pretty rare statistic.
That he hasn't beat Brady.
I think that what they're alluding to is what people think about LeBron James. People think LeBron James isn't clutch and that he doesn't win games. As a matter of fact, he wins a bunch of games and closes them out. Aaron Rodgers is what they consider LeBron James to be. Aaron Rodgers is not very clutch, statistically speaking. That doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback, and that's what I hate what people do. People assume that because you can't, come back from a game or score at the end of minutes of a quarter, that means you're a bad player or that you can't be great. No, of course you're great. Your team is there because of you. You just lack that pretty important aspect. But I don't know. Maybe Aaron Rodgers isn't clutch, but he's definitely statistically one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, his defense didn't help him out either. So there's also that. There's only so much the quarterback can do.
His offense didn't help out either. But moving on to Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. We're
Second
there.
place.
Yeah, we are, but we're going to be number one, and that's because we have Tua starting next week against the Rams. Tell me, what do you think? What's your opinion? Right move? What is Flores thinking? Talk to me.
So, when I first saw this, I was a little bit baffled just because you guys are 3-3, second place in your division. And Fitzmagic hasn't been playing bad, so it kind of struck me as a shocker. And then I started thinking back to, my football team, Giants, and what they did with a young rookie quarterback named Eli Elite Manning. And that is that when his rookie year, they had Kurt Warner as their starting quarterback. And Kurt Warner went a good 4-1. And I believe they had a bye week. After the bye week, they gave Eli Manning the helmet and said, "Here you go, Eli. This is your team now. Let's see what you do." He obviously didn't have enough offensive weapons, and I think he went like 1-8 or something like that. He didn't do well. After that, the next season, he progressed, and you're looking at the soon-to-be first ballot Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning. So maybe this is exactly what Brian Flores is trying to do with Tua. He's gotta get that experience somehow, and it wasn't gonna be against the Jets in 2 plays. So they threw him out against the Rams. It seems a little bit unfair because he's got to go up against Aaron Donald, which is a beast. But it's the only way I feel like he's gonna learn, and the only way the Dolphins are gonna know whether or not this guy is your franchise QB. You've had 21 quarterbacks since Dan Marino left in '99. You better hope this is the guy, because if not, you're gonna continue to be irrelevant.
Listen, you're talking about Donald. I'm also talking about Ramsey. He covers a whole half of the field. You have Donald, he goes through double teams like nothing, and now you have Ramsey, who covers a whole half of the field. I will say it's very odd as a fan to see. It's very odd as a fan. Yeah, an odd time to switch Tua, because it's odd as a fan to see that Tua is getting a starting job when the Dolphins aren't even last place in the division. We're not even third place like the Giants are. We're actually in second place. Fitzmagic is playing well, but I am going to trust Flores. He's one of the few coaches who seems to be from Bill Belichick's branch that knows what he's doing. He paid our cornerback, Howard. He seems to be trying to do the same thing that Bill Belichick does. That's never a bad idea. But the only thing I'm going to disagree on is the timing. Maybe we should have waited after the Rams. Maybe we should have seen another team playing. But it's funny because I'm debating with myself right now. Maybe it was the right time because it's a bye week, and now this gives Tua more time to prep. So what other time to have a young quarterback get adjusted to the system, get more first depth chart reps than during a bye week, and get him really prepared. He sees them all the time. I'm not going to say it was a bad decision. I will say it's an odd time because, hey, we have a chance to maybe even make the playoffs this year, just because we're not sure about the Patriots. The COVID scandal, not the scandal, but the COVID situation. Are the players healthy? Do they need more practice time? Are they still in it? Is Cam Newton for sure? Is he an imposter? Is he an actual liable quarterback? And the Bills, are the Bills an imposter? That's going to be our next question, talking about that. But odd timing, yes, but I don't think it's the bad decision, because Tua is the future, and what better way to find out about our star player than now?
and I'm gonna go to the comments quickly. As Danny said, there has to be something we don't know, which is absolutely right. And I think, as much as I don't like to admit it, I think Flores is actually doing a great job with you guys. He's got you guys where you guys didn't think you were gonna be 3-3. And Alex said, it's a weird switch, but I'm here for it. Why not take a risk? Because if he does suck, we still have a top pick this draft.
That is true, man.
What are you guys gonna get? Trevor Lawrence, and then what?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so, but
That's gonna be the Jets
I
pick.
will say Fitz magic. Yeah, for sure. I will say Fitz magic. Seeing him cheer for Tua at the end of that game, or not at the end. When he got the nod, it was pretty awesome to show the type of character that the Harvard alum brings to the table.
And I respect that so much about Fitz, because Kurt Warner was the biggest hater when he got his job taken away from.
I mean, Kurt Warner took the Cardinals to the Super Bowl after that. Kurt Warner still had gas in the tank. Still,
did he win?
He had the Giants at 4-1. It makes no sense.
How many Super Bowls did he win after that?
Okay.
Oh, this many.
Look,
as many as the Dolphins have.
Look, I'm not saying
how many did the Giants win?
We're debating something else, because I'm not saying it was the wrong call to bench him. I'm just saying between Fitzmagic and Kurt Warner was a Super Bowl winning champion. Fitzmagic was not. Kurt Warner had a winning team. Fitzmagic does not. So it's just a different situation that I understand why Kurt Warner was upset.
He still should have known. It's not like Eli was the 5th overall pick. He was the number 1 pick. Kurt Warner needed to know what was going to happen. He was there as just like a Drew Bledsoe, a stepping stool to teach him. And he didn't do that. And that's why when Kurt Warner wants to crap on Eli, I'm like, yo, you're just mad because the boy took over your spot and he won 2 Super Bowls and he has more Super Bowls than you and he's a Hall of Famer. That's
all right. Well, moving on to another quarterback from the Buffalo Bills, we have
Jared Allen.
Is he an imposter? Or is he for real? Is he a crew member or is he an imposter? What do you think?
I think he's not an imposter. I think he just might have gotten caught being an imposter. But I think he's a real deal. I think he's done plenty to show that he's not. He's just he played the Chiefs this week, and I forgot who he lost to last week, but he's still putting up good. Josh Allen, my bad. I don't know why I said Jared Allen. I'm getting confused. I don't know why I feel like he's still your franchise quarterback. He's still good enough to win games. He's got weapons now around him. I don't think he's an imposter. He's been facing some good teams the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you know what? I can't disagree with you. I don't think he's an imposter. Maybe he's an imposter this year, leading the Bills to a record this good, with the Patriots not being as good as they usually are.
But last year he did well, though. He
did well, but still, I'm just saying now there's no Tom Brady in this division. He may be the best quarterback in the division. He did lose to a Chiefs team that's really good, but still, I don't think he put up enough points. It's just losing to the Titans in that fashion, in that way, that bad. That's where it gets kind of scary. I'm not someone who jumps the gun because someone loses back-to-back games. Josh Allen has he's been proven he's a good quarterback, and he's on a way up, and he might be one of the an up and coming, one of the best quarterbacks in this league. So I'm not gonna say he's an imposter. I definitely think he has what it takes. That's where I think the Baker Mayfield comparison might come in, where it would be, as far as our imposter our imposter thing. I think Baker is more of an imposter than Josh Allen.
So, I mean, I know I would wanted to comment with something you said that, him losing back-to-back games shouldn't be that bad, and you know about that because the Dolphins win 1-15. So obviously you would know what it is to lose back-to-back.
Moving on from 1-15, let's talk about the NFC least. That's my favorite topic of the day. The worst division in football. Question, Melo, could this be the worst division season of all time? There's been some pretty bad divisions where teams have gone to the Super Bowl, to the playoffs with an 8-8 record. Do you think this could end up being the worst division season of all time? It looks pretty bad. The Giants might make the playoffs, honestly.
So I'm gonna say no, because the AFC least has had some pretty lousy times, and the only people that have kept them relevant is the New England Patriots. But besides that, you had your Jets that were like 2-14, your Dolphins at 3-13, and the Bills at like 1-15. So you can say all you want. You had one team that decided your entire division for how many years?
You see, but that's not the question I'm asking. You're answering the wrong question. I didn't ask the totality. I asked
the NFC
in
East
a season.
has had multiple teams. The NFC East has had champions come from it the last decade.
That's once again, you're not answering my question. I'm not asking if this is the worst division of all time. I'm asking if this is the worst season for a division of all time. I understand you guys have champions. Listen, that division has great history from the Washington football team, from the Giants, from the Eagles, from the Cowboys. I understand that that's the end of the quarter, but my thing is yes or no, in Shannon and Skip fashion, yes or no, can this be the worst season for a division in NFL history?
I'm just gonna leave it up to the comment here by Danny.
Okay.
NFC East will be the
Thank you,
worst
Danny.
teams.
This shot is for you, buddy, for being a constant fan and watching our show. We're taking this shot for Danny right now. There you go. Hopefully our listeners are taking shots too. Boom. Man, fireball hits deep. Ba, 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 da, ba. Ba, 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 da, ba.
But yeah, I mean, all we got to do is win the division. That's it.
Yeah.
You make the playoffs. You get a home. I don't want to talk about football right now. It got me so upset this weekend. So we'll jump into quarter number 4. And quarter number 4, we're going to talk about something that's happening right now. Well, we're
Starting now.
Before we do, Danny said he's grabbing a shot too.
Ooh.
Danny, you got to tell us what you're drinking, you know. So once you do it,
Man, we
Too
got to
sweet.
have... Danny, I hope you could join us on Saturday. Have some couple of drinks with us.
absolutely be a blast. So our fourth quarter here, we're going to talk about the Major League
We got to put our
Baseball.
fours up in the air for the fourth quarter.
And we'll give you guys an update right now if you're not watching the game and if you're watching us, because, you know, we're here for you. The Tampa Bay Rays and the Dodgers right now in the World Series, Game 1, and Cody Bellinger hit a 2-run shot to put the Dodgers up 2-0 and the top of the fourth.
You can share the screen really quick if you want for 2 seconds.
Right there, guys.
There we go.
2-0.
Little preview of the game, 2-0.
And we'll have that there just to give you guys little brief updates. But yes, the Dodgers are actually winning Game 1 at the moment. Danny said, not Fireball Mountain Dew. That's fine. You drink what you want.
Well, you're missing out, buddy, because this
Yes.
is the... What's it called again?
What dreams are made of.
What dreams are made of. What a name. All right, let's start the fourth quarter. I'm going to restart the clock. 12 minutes for this quarter. And I believe this quarter we're doing MLB talk.
Absolutely.
That's because the game's on. We're doing some MLB talk. And the first question, Mello, is the Braves had a 3-1 lead. But on this podcast, one of us had the Dodgers winning. So what do you think about that? And most important, I don't know, what do you think about them winning a 3-1 lead, than me being right about them making it? But do you think it's the best comeback in sports history, or are there other comebacks you have in mind?
Are you going to make me relive this? Why?
I'm just saying.
Why would you make me relive this?
I know you're not a LeBron
It's
fan.
obviously not the greatest comeback of all time. The greatest comeback of all time is the mother flipping Boston Red Sox against the Yankees in 2004. Of course it is. They were down 3-0. No, everyone counted them out. That Yankee team was stacked. There was no reason for them to lose. And they
LeBron-
lost to the freaking Red Sox.
LeBron had a 3-1 deficit against the greatest NBA team.
He had Kyrie
Season
Irving,
of all
so
time.
I'm not really...
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
Kyrie
who he
Irving
had.
fan.
I'm just saying they were down 3-1 against the best basketball season of all time with the Warriors, and they came back from a 3-1 lead. But tell me, do you think this Dodger team has what it takes in the finals? Did they deserve it, or do you think the Braves should have? Clearly the Braves don't deserve it because they couldn't win one darn game after.
Nope,
But
they blew it. I think the Dodgers finally did what they had to do to get there to the World Series. But again, I don't know if maybe this was their extra boost to go over. Maybe Mookie was it, because Mookie made so many clutch plays in outfield that saved a lot of those games. He went Kyrie Irving basically. He saved the Dodgers from a double or a triple that would have had more runs scored and would have put them in a bigger deficit. So I'm gonna say that the Dodgers maybe have gotten over that hump, but we'll see because the Rays are not no slouches. They've had great pitching, they've had great runs scored. So it's gonna definitely be a battle of the Goliaths.
You know what? It's gonna come down to the best pitcher in baseball finally playing his best game. That's what it's gonna come down to. If Kershaw doesn't show up the 2 or 3 games that he's gonna be called up to play this season, this series, then they're not gonna win. Kershaw, you're the best pitcher on the field. You need to show up and win these games. Tonight you're showing it. Tonight you're playing amazing. You're retiring players. You're doing what you got to do. You just have to keep it up. If not, I don't see the Dodgers winning the series without Kershaw. Kershaw, you need to show up. But I do believe the Dodgers deserve to be there. They've had one of the best teams in baseball all season long. And they've had one of the best teams in baseball the past 3 years now. How many years have they made it to the finals already?
Well, they've only made it to the World Series one other time, and that was against Houston. Every other time, I think they get it to the conference championship.
But they were there recently, and they've had a great team every year. So this has to be your year. You have to win it, which leads to our next point that we're going to talk about on the podcast, and that's salary cap in baseball. The difference in salary cap is, I believe I saw a post that Mookie Betts and Kershaw, their total salary
is more than the Rays.
Is more than the Rays' whole roster. Now, I want to know, is the person managing this team the guy from Moneyball? And I'm not talking about that guy, Billy Bean. I'm talking about the other guy that was played in the role. Wow, what's that actor's name? I wish Andrew was here because he would know that. Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill. I think Jonah Hill's character is the one who's managing the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. That's what I will always call them. That's one of the nicest jerseys too.
It really was.
But tell me, what do you think? My question is, do you think baseball is the most fair sport when it comes to salary? As in, you can't just buy players to, like in the NBA, there's a salary cap, but you can buy 2-star players and make it far. What do you think about baseball?
I mean, baseball doesn't have a salary cap, so it's whatever you guys want to pay them. So that was always the complaint about the Yankees. Oh, they're buying everybody, they're paying for it. Who cares? You can do it too. You guys just choose not to do it. So, I mean, I don't mind it. Go ahead and do it. If you want to make yourself the greatest team, either do what Derek Jeter's doing right now, sell all your guys that are taking up too much money and try to build from within. Or, do a Yankees or a Dodgers, because people want to. Everyone always says that about the Yankees, but they don't say anything about the Red Sox doing it or the Dodgers doing it, that they're buying everyone and, making their team good.
I think baseball is one of those rare sports where, yes, if you just overpay a bunch of players, you're going to make it in the playoffs and possibly win a World Series. But it's definitely one of those rare sports where you don't need star players all around to make it far. We've seen it with the Royals, and now we're seeing it with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, Tampa Bay Rays. You couldn't make it to the finals by playing aggressive baseball, playing smart, and getting players who want to play together. And that's one thing I do appreciate about baseball. In basketball, you overplay, you pay for 1 star, and that could take you to the finals in basketball. Just one guy makes a difference. Football, I think, is like baseball. One guy may not make a difference, but one guy in the right position could make a difference. But in baseball, it's just a completely different sport. You could do so many different things and strategies, defensive setups, lineups, rotations. You can have a really good bullpen, and that could mean you make it to the finals. So I just feel baseball, when it comes to salary cap, do they need a salary cap, Danny? I don't know. So you want to put that MLB needs a salary cap? I don't know if it needs a salary cap.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you can see teams winning constantly without having, high salary. But if baseball did have a salary, I think it definitely would be more even.
You're absolutely right. It would keep some of these teams honest. I would like to actually hear what Timmy has to say. He's a big baseball fan.
I'm surprised they're not on. I thought we were going to get crashed. I thought they were going to have drinks. I'm disappointed.
All that hype from the Just Too Sweet show.
Melo finished that drink so I can...
So Timmy says Dodgers in 6, but I would like to hear what you think about the salary cap, Timmy, since he is a Yankee fan. So It's like what I said. We just have to buy the players in.
And
We're
Timmy,
gonna
if your computer's working, you can definitely hop on.
Absolutely. Oh, send me the. Okay,
Some
Timmy,
ear
you know you
pouring.
can just go onto the StreamYard thing, right? Remember, we got that access. But I'll do you the favor.
So as we said in the link, I'm just gonna keep finishing this drink. We're still drinking. Mello, what's your drink again? I keep forgetting the name.
What dreams are made of?
What dreams are made of. So I'm gonna finish this drink. But you know what, Danny? I think every sport deserves a salary cap, just like Formula One, as we talked about last time. Every sport I think will benefit from a salary cap.
But see, I feel like Formula One definitely needs a salary cap because, and you have all those other teams that just because you can't have the right, equipment, it's so different.
Yeah, definitely. And for our
Baseball, you
listeners-
can build from within. You can't really build a car part to, be great.
Damn, I just spilled this drink twice. No, you're right. And for all our listeners out there, I think you guys should all give that Formula One show a try. Definitely so much drama in Formula One, more than people are aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But here, as I give Mello his shot and his drink, you guys, we're still drinking. We've taken a shot at the end of every quarter. We have our What Dreams Are Made Of. I finally remembered it.
So, hold on.
But yeah,
Well,
as
what do
we-
we got talking about next then?
What?
What are we up to next with the fourth quarter?
The fourth quarter. We didn't really get to finish that best comeback talk. We kind of moved on straight from that. But there's been plenty of such amazing comebacks, just like the ones we saw this year. The Nuggets did it twice back to back. Do you think that had to do with being in a bubble? That they came back 3-1 back to back? But I think that's the beauty of the bubble. What do you have to do to look into revenue sharing? These beating our teams carry the league.
All right,
That's true. That's true. Danny actually knows a lot about this. He used to work with a baseball team, so he knows a lot about baseball and stuff like that. The big teams do carry the league. You can. It's like one of those give and take type of things. You kind of need those teams also.
All right, so we did it in the first two quarters, and now we're gonna do it again. We got none other than Timmy Tabala from the Just Too Sweet show chiming in right now.
What's up, boys? What's going on?
Good. Yourself, Timmy?
Yeah, computer's still down, so I had to go to the phone.
It's all right. You're still looking good,
Well-
sounding good.
Exactly. Luckily here, you don't have to worry about producing and nothing, just talking and shooting the shit.
Thank you so much also for supporting our show and having us on your show. You guys we can look up to you guys. You guys are kind of OGs, so we appreciate you guys helping us out and getting to be on your amazing show. So we should probably put their show on there so they can people can follow it.
Just Too Sweet show. If you guys haven't seen it, we talked about the top 10 greatest wrestling finishers of all time. For everyone out there, submission holds are not finishers, but that's just you'll see with the show if you watch it. It's up there. It's going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you want to go to YouTube, it's going to be already there. Same thing if you're on the Facebook.
So tell us,
And
Timmy.
Dave, you guys missed it. Next week, we're going to start our Halloween Havoc reviews, because if you ever seen those Halloween Havoc, they're a ridiculous group of pay-per-views. So we're going to start those next week.
Ooh,
Oh, awesome! I
for
can't
that.
wait to tune in for that. So tell us, Timmy, what's your thoughts of the MLB
The salary
baseball
cap.
this year, the finals and salary
Yeah,
cap?
everything.
Salary, you know what? I'm torn. I'm torn because I'm one of those guys who will turn around and say nobody's worth that much money. Especially, I know you got JT Realmuto coming out next year wanting $250 million as a 30-year-old catcher. Are you kidding me? And I'm telling you right now, the Mets are going to give it to him. The Mets are going to buy him, and they're going to buy Trevor Bauer. Why? Because their billionaire owner, lost no money this year due to the COVID, the shortened season. He's going to go out and make a big splash. He's going to give Realmuto $250 million as a 30-year-old catcher, and it's completely ridiculous.
So basically, the Mets want to do another Bonilla. They just want to be owing people a bunch of money. They love it. They love giving away money.
Good for them, because they're one of those teams I said it to the put it in the book guide. I said it to Steve. I said it to him. I said, you guys need like an exorcism. You need like something. You need to get a big crew and a washing crew and wash down all the walls and everything inside that stadium. You need some kind of power shift. Something has to change. But
They
there's
got to
no
bring
way
in
that-
A-Rod is what they have to do.
Oh no, I won't. Even I won't say that.
A-Rod and J-Lo, they'll change that organization.
Well, now they got a billionaire now. Now there's going to be no excuse. But giving that much money to a 30-year-old catcher, it's not good for the game at all. Salary cap, I think we're way past that. What would the cap be in baseball? Like, what would the cap have to be? 100 million, 150 million, 200 million. You know what I mean? Where's
So
that
many
cap
teams will already be over it.
Yeah, exactly. But don't forget, the Yankees haven't had the highest salary in quite some time. It's always been the Angels, the Dodgers, the Red Sox. These are the teams that are. People forget that though. People like to rub it, the Yankees as the worst team there is, and it sucks. But it's just the way it is.
It's true. And an update for everyone watching: the Tampa Bay Rays just hit a home run, so now the score is 2-1.
Put it on the screen.
Well, I guess yes, right there. Yeah,
Oh, it's
Kershaw.
a top of the fifth, so it's a little early for Kershaw to be messing it up. Usually, it's when it gets to the sixth inning, seventh inning.
So Tim, would you give up your money on Kershaw?
For
Like, would you give him, like, if you're like, I don't know, a Red Sox or just another team or the Yankees, be like, yeah, okay, would you take Kershaw in?
it depends on how much. It really depends on how much.
Like Garrett Cole money.
How old is he?
Kershaw?
Kershaw now? No, I wouldn't.
Kershaw is
Got it,
32 years
early
old.
30s.
You know, he is getting hurt a lot and stuff like that. So
And he hasn't proven he can pitch in October yet.
He is not.
you know, I think Kershaw was
If he
gonna.
won 2 more games in October, they'd be in a whole different position right now. The Dodgers. Who knows what
I
the
thought
Dodgers-
Kershaw.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I thought Kershaw was gonna be like LeBron, you know, where he had a couple bad postseasons, and eventually his greatness was gonna outshine because he was gonna say, "F it, I'm ready to step up. I'm ready to play. I've been here before." But every time Kershaw just keeps proving me wrong. He just keeps.
Well, maybe the Astros messed that up with their cheating.
maybe, but I
Who's to say
mean,
that the Dodgers wouldn't have won that World Series.
what about the other? What about the other appearances? That was only one series. I mean, we can't just blame it on that one. He's considered. Oh, that's the end of the quarter. But we can give Tim a couple extra minutes since he joined us, since we
Yes.
appreciate him. Well, let's take the shot for Tim though, since the end of the
Yeah,
quarter. This
Timmy.
one's for you.
Do it.
Yo, Timmy.
I have
There we
nothing
go.
on me. I'm in my other room.
Man, we drink too much on this show.
Definitely.
Real quick though, I don't know what you guys are gonna talk about next, but Alain, I gotta say something. I gotta apologize to you for something. Last
What?
week you guys were talking about the Avengers, and I disagree with you as far as the multiverse. And I looked it up, and you were correct. Now,
Why, Tim? Why did you say that, Tim? He's
no,
not gonna shut up about it.
But just because you were correct, I don't agree with it though. I don't agree with it at all. I think that actually lessens the movie. Actually makes
No.
the movie a little worse for me.
Look, and I'm not gonna disagree with that. I wasn't saying if I liked it or disliked it when it came to the way they did it. I was just saying the way they were explaining it and what they were trying to do. But I'm not saying it was a good or bad idea. So I'm totally
Yeah,
with
you
you.
know why? To me, a multiverse to me is same people, just slight differences. But they went back in time to the exact same movies, to the exact
Yeah.
same spots in time. So it didn't come off as a multiverse type thing. But I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, I guess he was right. They went to a multiverse to get these stones, which
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense to me.
I
It
agree.
doesn't.
I agree. What they're doing, what they were trying to do, because they wanted to save the movie or do whatever, it was to come up with that reason. But now in Spider-Man 3, we're going to see them go to different multiverses. They're not calling it that, but the way I'm going to call it is a multiverse, because if you're
It's like,
telling me
it's like what they did with the DC, like on CW, where it's a different Earth. So it's like Earth 1.
who
Earth
knows?
2,
But
like
the
that.
thing is, if you're saying that a multiverse is the same exact people with the same exact things, what do you call another universe with different people but in your same world but with the same characters? So I think they had to fix that plot hole, because that's a big plot hole. So I don't know.
So I had to say okay because I was disagreeing with you, but
But you know
right.
what, Tim? I appreciate the fact that you say the truth when you see it and you call it out, unlike my co host that won't give me credit when I say things that may sound crazy. But our listeners will know that I don't just say things just to say things like Melo. You know, I don't just scream out, oh, the Dolphins are great when they're actually lousy. Melo will sit in his computer. Melo will just sit here and say how amazing the Giants are and how they have a great quarterback.
Thank you. Please, Tim, defend me here with Daniel Jones. Defend me here with Daniel Jones. Because the man does not want to see clearly that Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. Yeah. He's just, the product that he's given isn't that great.
He's got the same, he's got just as good a numbers as Peyton Manning has to his first 17 games, 18 games.
I brought that up last time.
I'm not going to disagree with you with that. But, hey, Tim, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Definitely got to have him on next time because we're going to have more baseball talk next week anyway. So we definitely want to bring you in. We're going to watch these games, and thank you so much.
Tim, I don't know how much you are a UFC fan, but if you want to, like I said, sure, if you caught it, we're going to be live streaming the UFC 254. You can always chime in. We're going to have different people coming in, talking, and we're going to be watching the fight, drinking and talking, shooting the shit as well.
Sounds good. If I can, I will pop in definitely.
All right, man. Thank you, Timmy.
Thank you, Tim.
Have a good night.
Show me stuff, fellas. See you later.
Thank you. All right, so it's about that time.
What time is it?
OT, 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 OT.
It's never much love when we get to OT.
Hey.
All right, so we're down to everyone's favorite moment of the four-quarter show, and that is overtime, where we talk about anything and everything. So the first thing we're going to talk about, I don't think he's still in the chat, but if he is, Alex, this one's for you. We know how much you love these guys, but that is with the Power Rangers getting not only, it's like a whole immense reboot because they're going to get movies, they're going to get a TV show, and that's going to be huge for them.
Yep.
What do you think about that? Are you excited about this Power Rangers reboot after the fail that was it 2017?
Listen, growing up, my brother was huge on the Ghostbusters. That's what he used to love watching. He used to have the whole set, the Ghostbuster car, everything. I love two things. Simple guy. Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. So I will always be excited about a Power Rangers reboot. I think Alex and I were the few people who liked the last reboot that came out a couple years ago. I didn't like the Megazord. I think the Megazord was the worst thing about it. But anything Power Rangers, I'm going to be excited about. So I'm looking forward to this reboot. And especially if you have the TV shows and you know you're making a whole universe out of it, I think that'll be pretty cool. I don't see why it would be bad. I hope they pick good actors. I'm not sure if the universe is going to involve the characters from the movie showing up to the small screen, but that's something that's going to come up. I think it's definitely something to look forward to.
You obviously didn't really watch the last movie really well because that was awful.
Like I said, Alex is our movie review guy, and we're going to wait for him to review the movie and see what score he gives it. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just making sure, but that Power Rangers movie was so bad. Even the cameo they did was terrible. How are you not gonna have Tommy in like the movie somehow to like guide these guys or just be more of a good cameo, not just if you caught him, but if you missed him, hey, tough luck, go back and rewatch it.
I think the biggest mistake they made was I think they were gonna make the Green Ranger something other than what it was in the original movie, and I think that disappointed a lot of fans. But some of the actors they picked for the movie were pretty good.
Becky G.
I mean, I didn't complain about the casting of the characters. Just the storyline was kind of off. But also, quick shout out to my co-host Melo. You know, he wore pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I feel awful that I didn't wear pink.
It's okay. We were on a time crunch, so
next week I'm gonna have to wear pink. I feel awful about it. Maybe even this Saturday, I wear pink instead during the fight. I think I have to make up for it. But you know, if anybody's out there who has family members who dealt with this issue and you know are suffering through it, you know, we're praying for you and your families. And if you can make any donations to the breast cancer awareness, you know, it's something that we represent the color pink here in this show, and Melo's wearing pink. So that's just a quick shout out.
Absolutely. And we'll try to, I mean, our next topic isn't as poppy, but it will get there. Our next topic is on the presidential debate and how now the, I forgot, the person moderating, the moderator,
The debate commission,
is going to have a mute button.
the beginning of every segment.
So what do you think about this?
I think it's a genius idea. I think we should have that in this debate show. Sometimes you want to get in. That's what the only reason why I brought up this debate conversation, because I don't want to get political. But I mean, having a mute button in a debate, so I don't have to hear you complaining or say anything about my opinion. Okay. In all fairness, I don't think I would like a mute button in this show, because we definitely have to interrupt each other on certain topics. But at least we have some respect for each other. I feel in the last presidential debate, neither side had respect for each other. Both of them were just saying things. And I think for something as serious as picking the next leader of this country, I believe you do need that mute button, because you need both sides to articulate what they're trying to say. So I don't disagree with the mute button for the presidential debate. I would not like the mute button on this show, but I would like the mute button on something like the presidential debate. But not the whole time, though, because I want them to,
They have to be able to go back and forth a little. Maybe it's like what you said, just for the beginning, so that they can get their whole thought process out, and then after go at each other.
Exactly, just the beginning. I think the mute button would work, but not for the whole show. So everybody tune in. I believe it's October 22nd for the debate. That's actually very important. Go out and vote.
Did they decide what they're going to do? Is it going to be like this, or is it going to be in person?
No, it's probably going to be in. You know what? I don't know. It's probably going to be in person, but
because I know that was the whole spiel about it. That it was like, they're going to do it online, like a virtual thing, so they will be able to mute. But then, I mean, I don't know how that's going to work.
I have no idea.
2020 for you.
We'll see. Maybe soon we'll have Danny join us here and be the person who mutes us. Who knows? We'll see. We definitely want Danny to come join us one of these days.
They should have a penalty box for interrupting.
Actually, for anybody listening, next week we might bring some changes to the show. We did talk about that. And not that I want to talk about 4-quarter things or sport things, but since it's not sports, it's kind of just 4 quarters. We're thinking about bringing 2 timeouts and a challenge button into our show. So we would call a timeout whenever someone was talking too much nonsense. You call a timeout on that person, you can talk over them, and you have to respect the timeout. And then the challenge button would be if somebody says something statistically or sports-wise incorrect, and then they would have to bring something next week to make up for it. And if you get it wrong, then you lose the timeout or whatever the case.
If it's wrong where you thought, let's say Alain said LeBron was shooting 43% from three-point range, and I said, no, you're wrong. I challenge it, and he did shoot 43%. Then I lose my time. I lose one timeout, and Alain's right.
So we'll see. But that's just an idea we had for that. But yes, the presidential debate's coming up, and that's going to be very important, as we all know how important those things are. Moving on to the next OT topic, since we do love movies on this show, and
before we move on, I want to keep it there just because yesterday I think was the early voting for here down in Florida. Me and Alain are both in Miami. Are you going to do early voting, or are you going to go out and vote the day of Election Day, which is November 3rd, meaning that we will have a 4-quarter show that day as well?
I'm going to do early voting because we have a show on that day. And I take what I do seriously, guys. I'm not going to have time to vote and then prep for the show. I will be early voting before then.
So Mello is a man of many gifts, many things that he does all at once. I don't feel like I want the whole voting on Election Day experience. I don't care if I have to wait in line for 2 hours. I did it 8 years ago. I'll do it again. I'm gonna wait in line that day.
All right, you go and I hope you don't get COVID. I never wish on you getting
Please
COVID.
Don't.
I know, because I love doing the show with you here. But if you have to do it from home, we're still gonna make this show happen, even if you're gonna be coughing up a storm. But I am not gonna do on the day of. I'm gonna do early voting. I'm gonna try to. If it happens,
I what you said about the COVID thing, I feel like I'm not saying our political views stand, but if you're able to go to the grocery store, you're able to go so and so places without getting it. Me standing in line, hopefully 6 feet apart from somebody, to just I'll bring my own pen.
Well, I'm using apps for that. I have apps to buy me groceries. I have, all these things that bring me food. I'm just kidding. I go and get my groceries. I put my mask on. On to the next topic, which will involve us wearing a mask. AMC Theaters is giving out a deal where they're renting out theaters, I believe, to 10 or more friends, or just 10 friends. I forgot what it said. But how do you feel? I think that's what I want for my birthday this year.
Ooh, and that's coming up.
I know.
Maybe if you beat my 10-week streak.
Oh, wow. It's OT. We're not going to talk about that.
But I actually love this idea because this way the people you're bringing in are people that, you feel comfortable around, where they're in your bubble, as we like to say. And I think that'd be great. Like, me personally, I love the movies. They've always been a big thing for me. So I would love to, I don't know what the releases are,
If they're
anything like that.
If they're letting me bring my food, my gummies.
I just kind of hope they let me pick the movie.
Well, I think that depending on what movie you pick is going to determine the price. I believe Tenet won't be available for that type of deal.
So what if I want to play like an old school movie, like Back to the Future?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's something we got to check into. But I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Unfortunately, the movie industry, especially with
they've been hit hard.
With the theaters, they definitely felt COVID very hard. And as two people here who love going to the movies, I mean, it's kind of sad. I do, as expensive as it might be, I do love the experience, especially with the new theaters that are coming out, where it's more personal. You have less people in the seats, and then you have the reclinable chairs. All that. Yeah, actually,
that's me.
I don't mind paying $12, $15 per ticket for that. I really don't. It's awesome. It's a date night, and there's actually a place in Brickell. I hate that I forgot the name.
It's not CMX, is it?
I want to give them a shout out because it's actually awesome. They have 3 floors of bars, and it's so comfy. It's by the Whole Foods in Brickell.
I don't know. I thought it was CMX, but no, I don't know what that is.
Just say what you got to say, and let's see if
what I was
can
going to say
find
was,
it.
once I went to a movie theater that had a reclinable chair, I said, I am never going back to a movie theater that doesn't have it. I did it one time, and I said, nope, there's no way. Movie theaters are ruined to me if I can't put my feet up and my chair back. Popcorn, whatever, I'll pay for that, beer, but I need my chairs to recline, so I'm comfortable.
So, AMC 10 Miami 18, the one on Coral Way near FIU, is a very good spot. Low key, it's not in a very nice marketplace or supermarket place.
Used to be Regal Palace 18 for all you old schools out there.
But AMC 10 Miami 18 is actually a very good place to watch a movie. The tickets aren't expensive, and they're reclinable, and it's nice. But the place that I'm talking about is Silver Spot Cinema, Met Square on 300 Southeast 3rd Avenue. I usually don't give out free advertisement like that. They're not a paid sponsor, but it's actually a very nice date spot for anyone who wants to go there on a date and watch a movie.
Made in Silver Spot. Sponsor the 4-Quarter Show. We'll do a show live from the theater.
But yeah, definitely. And you know what? I would love to do that. If we get some friends meant to watch a movie, that'll be cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Not a bad idea at all. So I see here for the next topic, we have Dark Side of the Ring Season 3. Oh, we should have kept Timmy on here. What do you think about that?
I'm so excited for it.
Are there any rumors or any storylines or anything you would like to see?
As of right now, no. They just said it's going to be 14 episodes.
14
episodes. So they renewed it for 14 episodes.
It's a popular show.
3. And yeah, it was because of how good season 2 did with the Chris Benoit, with the Owen Hart. And they had so many.
No pun
other
intended.
ones.
They killed it with that season.
Oh God.
Was that uncalled for? I'm sorry.
Anyway, you're absolutely right. They did.
I have bad jokes.
Kill it. But because a lot of the stuff was, you had the Jimmy Snuka that maybe a lot of people didn't watch. That he supposedly murdered his girlfriend. You had Hawk die from an OD. So there was so many different things that. So season 2 definitely picked off where season 1 went and just took it to another level that you just. For anyone who's a wrestling fan or old school wrestling fan, go out and watch it. You're gonna just feel so many different things that you didn't know from before that.
Yes. Before I get into that, Daphne, who's not writing on the board, but she did say she wanted me to take her and invite her to my favorite cinema place. Definitely, just letting you know. I read your text. I shouldn't be reading texts during this, even though I always break the rule for
I'm
you.
sorry. I feel offended, Daphne. Why are we not seeing your comment on the chat here?
It's okay. She's probably
Nope,
working.
it's not okay,
or
Daphne.
doing
I do
something
not feel okay
important.
with that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take that very offensively. And
But
this
yes,
is why Alain is
Mello.
gonna get destroyed on Saturday.
Okay, Mello, I agree with you. Dark Side of the Ring, such an amazing, amazing series if you're a wrestling fan. And if you're not a wrestling fan, I'm not going to say it's going to make you into a wrestling fan, but you definitely appreciate the history or story lines or things that have gone out through, wrestling. So it's definitely a great show. I can't
Not
say
all of it is fake.
yeah, there's truth to everything, and even though the storylines in wrestling might be fake, the actual wrestling and the things that these people go through is real. So I'm excited for it. That's definitely gonna be on the top of our list. Which also it's not here. It's not here, but I actually want to start doing something on OT where we pick a show and we start watching it.
Okay. like that
I
idea.
remember back in the day when me and Mello, me and Mello have been friends for a very long time, but I remember when we started watching Friday Night Lights, and that was one show that we were big on.
Those are some nights just binge watching seasons and seasons of Friday
And if
Night
we
Lights.
can find a new show that we can watch it together or not, or just anything that we can start talking about in the show. If any of our listeners have a request for a show we should watch together or a show that we should review, I'm down for that. I know we still have Tenet that we have to go watch and review for some of our fans, but it's gonna happen. Unfortunately, with COVID, things are a little hard, but we're gonna get to it.
So what's your favorite line from Friday Night Lights?
Sarah's sleeping with the coach's daughter.
That's
That's
the
the
greatest
best
line
line.
on that show.
And
Or Texas forever. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
to finish off the show, guys, we will talk about something very important, personal to us. I'm someone who loves to bodybuild. It's been a part of my life for about 10 years now. I definitely started this journey years ago, and it changed my whole life completely. My co-host has decided he wants to work out. I'm not sure if it's bodybuilding or... Wait, we have Daphne saying, please review Soulmates. So I think you should have watched the 3 episodes.
Soulmates. Okay.
Yes,
we
that's
can do
the
that.
show I was telling you about.
We can do that now that you decided to comment on
This actually goes hand in hand. So Daphne, it's awesome you said this. It goes hand in hand with what we're doing. Today, me and Mello started our workout journey together, where we're going to train together, and we're actually going to let all of our followers know on OT how it goes. We're going to take before and after pictures. We're going to start training. Melo's never really been into bodybuilding. He's done other physical things, but bodybuilding is something new. And we really want it to be something that we're open with our fans about and see the change in our bodies and see the change in Melo's body and even my body, because especially with COVID and the bar exam, I've definitely started eating, talking to Daphne. We like to order out.
Don't you dare blame Daphne for that.
I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying that I have been irresponsible. So,
Thank you. I got you, Daphne.
Mello, what do you feel about the fitness journey? What are you looking forward to? What are you scared of? Be honest and open with our fans.
Can I back out right now? No, I'm joking around. I'm actually super excited about this. It's something that I wanted to do when I actually got furloughed from my job, just because, I wanted to do something and I didn't. I had a lot of shit. I'm not even gonna, what does it, put fairy dust on it. A lot of shit happened to me this last year that kind of, put me down a different path, and I couldn't get to where I wanted to be. So now that I feel like, I'm trying to focus more, doing, what I want to do, what makes me happy, makes me feel better, and that's going to make me have a better life. I'm actually excited about this. I know we did our first workout today. We did legs. I know I'm going to feel it as hell tomorrow, but one of the first things I told the line after was like, I know how I'm feeling now, and this is crazy because I haven't felt this in so long, but I'm excited for tomorrow. Like, I'm excited to go in and do our next workout and, get myself better.
Definitely.
Because that's what really matters right now to me. And I'm so thankful that I have my co-host and Alain to help me out through this journey as well. So
Thank you. I'm excited that you chose me to do this journey with, and I love you and I appreciate you. So let's take this shot together right now.
last one for the road, for the roadie right here.
Let's go, to this amazing show we have in this brotherhood.
So before we sign off, again, we'll remind you. So, make sure I get the dates right. You can put that away if you like, because you're not going to have it for much longer. On Saturday, October 24th, meaning in 4 days, we have UFC 254 where we're live streaming, and you guys are going to be more than welcome to come on if you're listening. Talk whatever you want. If you guys want to talk about sports, we can talk about sports. You want to talk about the UFC fight, we'll talk about the UFC fight. You want to talk about your dating life, how you need, some advice. We want to ask for advice from you. Who knows what it is? We are going to have you on throughout the entire night. It's going to be 2-3 hours of just live streaming. Come on with us. We're going to have a blast. Then next week, 1 week from today, October 27th, another 4-quarter show for you. Like always, Melo's going to be the champ after. He's going to be basically he's going to be 2 shows because I'm going to win on Saturday and then he's going to win on Sunday. So Alain could hold on to that belt, for today. He's not going to have it for much longer. And then the very, very special one that we're going to announce today that we teased a couple weeks ago, we're going to keep teasing for the next couple shows. October 29th, we are having our Halloween/horror movie bracket show. So it's going to be an overtime special show of a Halloween bracket where we crown the greatest Halloween/horror movie of all time on the 4-quarter show.
I'm excited for that. Thank you, Melo, for that. Cheers. We got Danny saying cheers. And
Cheers.
Daphne saying Ronnie Coleman, the King. It is a great documentary. Cheers to everything. Thank you, everyone, listening. Man, this is my favorite part of the week.
Before we leave, Carlos, Khabib versus exactly. That's where we're going to be live streaming. So if you want to, Carlos, you come on either for whatever match you want to. If you want to come on, whatever it is, we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about UFC. We'll talk about whatever you want. We're going to be here the entire night watching it. And again, at the end of the night, there's going to be a punishment. What it is, we don't know. But you don't want to miss it.
All right, guys. To everyone, that was OT. That was 4 quarters. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you on Saturday. You don't want to miss